There we go. Beautiful. Wonderful. Look at that. That little thing going on down there. Everything's good. Okay, very good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. So glad to have you here in this Monday. I actually get to take a break from the shop for a little while and chat with my friend Mitch Thames over there.
Man, we closed our eyes. I blinked, and it became summertime. So
yeah, man, bad.
Here we are. The heat.
Yeah. Now you sent me an email that you said, is it next week or the Father's Day week? Well, Father's Day weekend's this weekend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the 17th.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so it's next week. So next week.
I'm lost, dude.
I'll send you a Ellen J. Small calendar. Right, calendar. I'll send you the calendar.
Man, I can't keep up. The world is spinning.
Yeah. There's a lot of tropical moisture that is going to be going over the state of Florida. Florida can get up to 24 inches of rain in some areas down there. And the reason it's stuck there is because we have right now here, we have this front that's just hanging right by the coast, hanging around the coast. And it's not letting any of that moisture come north right now. Okay. So once this trough, and we call it a trough, that comes down along the coast here, as soon as it nudges away, okay, we got a high pressure system that's pushed this trough down a little bit. That means we're going to have between now and Wednesday, we're going to have some spotty showers going on. Okay. The showers are going to drop down as soon as that trough goes, but that tropical moisture now is going to have a place to come north and west. So we're looking at, and I have all the different models up here that I'm looking at the American model, the Canadian model, the European model. There's a couple different models, and they're all coming now to consensus that there's going to be huge amounts of moisture in the Gulf by next week sometime, where a low pressure system will build there. Now, the question is, where will it build? Will it build in the center? Will it build in the Bay of Campeche? Will it build over towards Florida? We don't know yet. Nobody knows yet. This far out, we just don't know. We're talking 10 days. So 10, 11, 12 days. They're all starting to come into configuration in about 10 days. Now, when we get to the 7-day and 6-day and 5-day, then we're going to know a little bit more. So when we're 5 days out, we will know. And once that happens, Dan, myself, Andy Kirkland, the emergency managers from the area and stuff, will come on. We'll do a special program. We'll come on. And I already talked to the folks over in Brazoria County. And they'd love to come on and be able to let their folks know. So they're going to spread about Gulf Coast One Radio and put it out there. Now, I did put a thing on Facebook, and I always say this and 25 cents will get me a cup of coffee, what I got. But I am very honored that Dan asked me to be a weather ambassador for NOAA Weather. NOAA Weather Service and a part of Matagorda County. Good. So he's going to be sending me all kinds of stuff to keep us up to date to the second of everything that's going on. So you'll probably hear my voice between starting at the end of this week, all next week, keeping track of what's going on.
Can I put my order in now that you're official and fancy? I'd like for that low to pass on over us and go up into the Highland Lakes area.
See, now that's Andy's job. Andy's job.
That's Andy. I got you.
Yeah. That's Andy's job. He's the bus driver. So Andy's the bus driver with that can of Miller Lite in his hand, and he will move it. Okay, you give him a case of Miller Lite, he'll move a storm anywhere you want it to go.
I got it.
He'll do that. Yeah. So after this moves out, it shows, different spots of lows, like I was saying, but we're going to keep a very close watch of it this weekend coming up. Now, you say, Jeff, well, it's going to be Father's Day. You're going to be doing something. No, my family is going to Baton Rouge this weekend. I'm here by myself. So that's how I'm going to spend my Father's Day. I got rid of my family for the week.
That was what you asked for Father's Day?
Yep, I asked Santa Claus at Christmas, and it's coming on Father's Day. So Yeah, so they're going over. They're going to be at Baton Rouge, and I told them, I said, no, go ahead and do what you got to do. So Lydia and a few of her nieces and stuff like that are going to visit her sister, and that's fine. But we're going to stay on top of this the weather situation. It's nothing to be crumbling or getting crazy yet. Like, where's it going to go? What's going to happen? We don't know. I have no idea. So don't even ask. But we will let everybody know where this thing is going. So here's
weather aware is what I'm hearing.
Weather aware. That's right.
Weather aware.
So the little blogs that I'm going to put up now and again will be on the website. So you just go to gcor1.com, either where you're watching the show now. You can just go there, gcor1.com. You go there. The little blogs are there, and we're going to keep it updated day to day. Travis Herzog.
What's that email again?
Email is insidetexas24@gmail.com. All right. So you can email me there, insidetexas24@gmail.com. It's running right in the bottom there. Also, the YouTube page is Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. You can go there as well. Make sure that you subscribe to that page. Things will pop up. The Facebook page is either Jeff Michaels, or you can go to Inside Texas or Gulf Coast One Radio as well on Facebook. So Jeff Michaels, Gulf Coast One Radio, Inside Texas. We'll have all that information up there as well. And you'll be able, I'll put links and all kinds of stuff on the pages for you guys to go to watch. Just click it and it takes you right to it. So I am very proud to say that I did get another email from GoDaddy and said they wanted to know what I'm doing to get all the viewers that we're getting.
All right.
And so it's pretty cool. We do have Jeff listen over in Atlanta. Hey, Jeff. Andy, hey brother, how you doing? And Andy's watching too. So, but anyway, like I said, Andy and I are Andy sends me emails all the time. Dan's gonna be sending me emails. We're gonna have enough information to flood a goat. I mean, just whatever. We have everything we need for information from Matagorda County. We were stacked up anymore. I mean, we could probably we're getting close to tell you where one raindrop falls in the county. So
there you go.
We're getting close. We're getting close. So, but we got a lot of information, and my biggest deal, like I said last week, was the safety and information getting out to all Matagordians and people in the surrounding area along the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
so,
and don't forget our visitors, Jeff. I know you don't, but we've got a lot of folks, especially in the summertime, come down and they're not familiar with our area and our weather.
I can say this. One good thing I can announce that almost 50% of the people that go onto our website live out of the area. And these are people that are associated with Matagorda, come to Matagorda County. Because on Facebook, they say, hey, we're heading down that way. Hey, they want to, on the website, you can, the radar is on there for us. And there's 3 different radars on there. The LCRA radar, the National Weather Service radar. There's 2 radars from the National Weather Service, actually. And then we have the tide conditions, wind conditions, current wind conditions, the streaming of Matagorda Bay or Matagorda, the ocean there. Then we have all the emergency services on there as well. Emergency preparedness, who to contact in case of emergency. And the other thing I want to tell everybody, if you know of an elderly person that has no transportation, does not know how to get out in case there is an evacuation along the coast, and this goes for the whole state, the dial 211. Let them know who that person is and say, hey, Mrs. Jones lives next door. Go and talk to Mrs. Jones first, of course, and say, listen, she has no way of getting out. Amanda mentioned last week there's only 6 or 7 people signed up for it here in Matagorda County, and that's good. But we'd like to see those numbers. Andy said, "Goat flood watch in effect." Goat flood watch.
Goat watch.
We got
greatest of all times. Is that what he means?
Greatest of all time. Right. That's it. So anyway, there's if anybody wants information on when it comes to the weather and stuff, I have enough resources that I can get the information that you need. And again, go to insidetexas24@gmail.com. We'll just give that one email out. If I give out too many, everybody will forget.
Yeah.
But go to the Facebook page, make sure you like the pages, and that all that information will come out to you.
it is important that they self-identify. And it's not just, I don't want people to think it's just hurricanes. I know last week we were talking about weather, and that's important. But with the South Texas nuclear project in Matagorda County, with all kinds of truck traffic, with all kinds of chemicals inside those trucks, you just never know. Weather is certainly a big one, but just you never know when evacuation may have to take place, or communications with individuals. So
that's right.
The idea is, if you're not going to be able to get out and move, or it's going to take you a long extended time to move, let Amanda's office know, let the state of Texas know, let Amanda's office know. That's called a functional needs list. And it's designed so that in case there's a situation, we know who needs additional help, other than those of us that can throw our things into a car real quick and drive out of the area.
That's correct. And the other thing I want to mention, again, we had talked a little bit about it last week, and especially with the storms that came through, and a lot of complaints coming out of Blessing that it was a tornado or it was a part, we don't know what to do. You have to call,
right? It was bad.
It was very bad. Call the sheriff's department. Let them log in what's going on. That way they can contact the National Weather Service to find out, hey, we need somebody over here to check this out. And that by them doing that determines whether or not they can call it a disaster area, or they need help, assistance, or whatever. They're the ones that you have, and you can't don't try to reach out to them directly. That really doesn't work. You either get a hold of Amanda at the emergency management, call the sheriff's department. If you had a roof blow off or something, call them right away. Hey, we had this roof blow off. They are the ones responsible for getting that information back to who it needs to get back to. And like I said, you can call Amanda as well. But the other place to call is that 211 number. Remember that 211, and that'll get the state involved with a lot of things. So,
well, and a couple things on that as well. I've been around the Gulf Coast for a long time, 60 something years.
Yeah.
And I was coming back from Palacios the other day, and Jeff, I have never seen crop damage. I don't care if it was a tornado. I don't care if it was a downburst. I don't care if it was something collapsing like they've talked about. Jeff, I've never seen a crop that a weather-related event pulled every leaf off of the plants. And I'm not talking about in a spot. I'm talking about the entire crops.
Yeah.
30, 40 acres of crops completely leafless. I'm assuming by the height it was cotton.
Yeah.
And it's bare stalks out there.
Right.
Jeff, I've never seen that. Or if I did, I didn't understand what I saw. Judge Seifman and I were coming back from Palacios, and I don't remember what day. My days are running all together. But we were at a meeting over there, and he and I talked about it later, and it is just phenomenal. Now, you call it a tornado, you can call it whatever, but I'm telling you, I've never seen damage like that. Now, I saw the barn that collapsed. I didn't see the houses and that sort of stuff, but I'm going to tell you, call it whatever you want. It was absolutely unbelievably massive and strong. And it utter when I say utter devastation, I'm talking, I've never seen anything like that.
Right. Now, again, learning this, and Andy can confirm with this. Usually when you get a regular thunderstorm, you're talking about 30,000 foot, 35,000 foot clouds, but when you're talking 50, 60,000 feet with storm tops,
Right.
and a lot of people don't know how hail is actually formed either. They don't know. It is so cold. It's below zero.
Yeah.
Up there. Okay. And the wind,
because of how high it is. Yeah.
And the bigger the hail, the higher that wind is up top there, just blowing that stuff around. It just keeps on twirling it around in a circle and keeps it up there and just builds and builds and builds and builds until it gets so heavy, then it drops. So when you're seeing softball size hail or even golf ball size hail,
right,
imagine how windy it is to hold that up there in the air,
right,
you know, and to let it drop.
And it may have been hail that destroyed some of this. It may not have been just the wind.
Yeah, well, it's probably a mixture of both. Yeah, probably a mixture of both. But again, looking at how high those cloud tops were when I was talking to Dan, in fact, we had a little chat about it 2 or 3 days ago, that most likely, and those microbursts get really bad. And that could have been the area where it's actually the microburst dropped down right there. Boom. And it's like an explosion. That's what he said. It's just like an explosion. There's so much pressure pushing down. It's unbelievable.
I believe it. I mean, you didn't see a leaf one. I mean, every stalk for acres and acres and acres.
Where was this at?
It's still there. I mean, it's between Blessing and Palacios over on the west side of 35. Yeah. If anybody's going by there, take a look. I'm telling you it.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I've been around a long time in rural areas.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I went back and looked at that radar, and the earliest spin that I saw on it was about an hour before that came through Blessing. The storms that came through Blessing. When it was over the top of Blessing and I slowed it down, there was no spin anywhere. We didn't see any spin anywhere, but the cloud tops were purple. I mean, when it's purple on the radar, know that's you're talking 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 degrees below. And purple, I believe, is right at minus it's like right at 0 degrees. I mean, Fahrenheit. So that's cold tops, and wind up there, forget it. I mean, it's just that wind up there. You drive a plane through and just rip it apart. I mean, that's how bad it is up there. The winds could be 200-300 miles an hour, up above high.
Well, I've been in planes where they'll make an announcement that they're going to fly around a storm. They're not flying through it. So I get it.
When they get above 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet, I mean, you're traveling at 33,000 feet when you're in a jet, and if they have to travel around one, that starts getting nasty at that point. But anyway, anybody that gets damaged like that or anything, call the sheriff's department. So they can log it, report it, okay, and then get a hold of the county emergency manager, and that way they can come and assess and say, hey, we need the National Weather Service over here to determine whether it was a tornado or straight line winds or whatever. They're not here. They can come over and look, and they'll send their people out, just like Dan said. They will send their people out to areas that were devastated, just hit bad.
I think Amanda's got a email address. I think it's disaster@co.matagorda.tx.us.
Okay.
But
well, I'll make
go to the website, go to the county website under emergency management. But if I remember right, her email is disaster. It's everything related to a disaster email. So disaster at co.matagorda.tx.us.
And I'll make sure, that's another thing. I can put that link. I don't think I have that link up there, but I can put that link on very easy. Go to the website.
Okay.
Okay.
I know she checks it regularly, and that's what it's for. It was actually, we created it during Harvey. And one of the other reasons, Jeff, that we need you to report it, besides getting individuals to come out and take a look like the National Weather Service, is for us to declare a disaster area. There are criteria on amounts of damage. So locally, the county judge can declare an emergency. It's got to hit a certain dollar figure, and then it escalates. So if we want to ask the state, if we want Governor Abbott to announce a disaster area, now there's another criteria. And then for the governor to go to the feds for FEMA, it's another amount of money. That's so if you're sitting here and nobody reports it, let's just make a number up. If there's $5 million worth of damage locally, and nobody reports it, it gets turned in as zero.
Right.
And then the state, their hands are tied because they can't get involved. And then the federal government, their hands, as much as they want to help, they can't. So self-identification of the damage, especially in a significant event like a flood or a hurricane or something along those lines, it's very, very important to report it.
Yeah, Jeff, did you see the tag about the report on FEMA? No, I'll look at it. I know FEMA's been putting out a lot of reports lately because they're restructuring and things like that. I did see that they were restructuring some of the programs.
They are very active in the state right now in the Gulf Coast, not in our area, but because of the floods and the storms that you drove through with Belleville and Needville, and then the storms going through.
They were in Angleton. They were in Angleton on Friday. We saw two famous trucks.
They're in a lot of places.
Yeah, and especially along the eastern part of Texas, where it's still flooded. I mean, it's still flooded over there. The water not coming out.
I keep getting. I guess I'm on their email list. So I keep getting all the emails, although it doesn't affect us.
Right. Yeah. Mitch, let's if anybody has any more weather related questions, please hit me up. You can hit Andy up as well. You can go to his Facebook page, Andy Kirkland. But just email me. It's very, very Inside Texas 24. That's like 2024. That's the reason why. Inside Texas 24 at gmail.com. So just email me or Facebook me or call me. Most of you have my number. Everybody has my freaking phone number. So just call me, and I'll be able to help you. Now, Mitch, I wanted to get this straightened out too.
Okay.
There's a lot of finger pointing, and I think the finger pointing is being pointed at the wrong people.
Okay.
And we talked about this a billion million times, but let's get the facts straight tonight.
All right.
The property tax for Matagorda County is controlled, and it went up because, and you're going to finish all those sentences for me. So go ahead.
Well, let's talk about it. That's a great question. There's two very important ideas that people have to come across, have to understand. Two groups, and it's a combination of two groups. Here's a test. Anybody watching live right now, I want you to tell me what the Matagorda County tax rate is. Just call Jeff or type it or
text me.
What is the Matagorda County tax rate? My other question is, what is the City of Bay City tax rate? Now, and a bonus, because James Carter said it on this show several months ago, what is the Bay City ISD tax rate? Now, I just named three different entities, and all three of those tax rates are different. And when you get your tax bill, it has anywhere from 9 to 13 taxing entities on it. Those of us on the east side of the Colorado River have the Drainage District number 1 is a taxing entity. The Port of Bay City is a taxing entity. So let's add them up. Drainage District number 1, different tax rate. I got Port of Bay City, different tax rate. Matagorda County, different tax rate. City of Bay City, different tax rate. Bay City ISD, different tax rate. Conservation Reclamation, different tax rate. What's the seventh one? Gosh, dog it. But you get the drift. So you've got all of these taxing entities that have been created by the state of Texas. And each one of them has a specific, call it a mission statement, a specific job. So let's develop why our taxes are going up. Did the entities raise the tax rate? The answer is no. So why did our taxes go up? Heck yes. HE double toothpicks. Yes. Now why? They didn't raise the tax rate, but our taxes went up. Why is that? So now we're going to enter into a different organization called the Appraisal District, which doesn't set a tax rate at all.
You keep going.
Look at your
keep going for 1 second, and then I'll be right back. Okay.
It sets the value of your property. All right, let me say it again. The Appraisal District, group of individuals, with an appraisal district staff, appraises every property in Matagorda every 3 years. A third is the way it's supposed to work. The comptroller's office oversees that, and if the appraisal district doesn't do its job, it can be in trouble with the state. So you've got the appraisal district over here. Now, the appraisal district has gone up on my house, the value, not a tax rate, because they don't set a tax rate, but they've set the value at probably somewhere around 40% more than the last 3 years. That's where the increase in what we're paying comes from. So the city of Bay City is 59 cents. I don't know how many people knew that. Matagorda County is 35 cents per $100 valuation. So every $100 that my house is evaluated for, I pay 35 cents. Now, I pay it in one check to the tax collector assessor, County of Matagorda, but all 9 entities could do their own tax collection. But they all contract with Miss Cook, Becky Cook, and said, would you collect all of our taxes for us? And then you cut us just one check. And she says, sure, I'll do that. Or we could get 9 to 13 tax bills and pay them all. A lot of people don't see a tax bill for their home because it may be escrowed through their mortgage company. So you may not know. So when you make a blanket statement that I pay, because I see this a lot on Facebook, and it's everything I can do to keep from talking about it, but I don't want to make people feel bad. And that is, as much taxes as I pay, you would think that the XYZ could do ABC. Well, I've heard that so many times. Here's what my question is. How much did you pay? Let's pick on, I don't know. Let's pick on the county. And you say, man, I pay so much county taxes. My county commissioner ought to be able to pave the road in front of my house. Now that road costs, I don't know what, 60, almost $1 million a mile now for a road, $1 million a mile. So your little road might be $100,000. Go look, and my guess is you're paying less than $500 to the actual county of Matagorda County in your property taxes. Go look for yourself. It's on your tax sheet. So do a little homework. Go to the appraisal district. Look up your property. Search by your name. It'll show up and it'll tell you every entity you pay taxes to. It'll show you what your appraised value on your house is. I'll tell you this, the highest amount of money I've always paid has been to the ISDs. That's not the case this year because of the legislature put an extra $100,000 on top of the $40,000. I forget the word now. where they discounted taxes I paid to the school district. They discounted it. They took the value of the household, $140,000 off, and then taxed me for that. The number one entity that I paid the most money to has always been the Bay City ISD. Not this year. The highest amount of money I paid for property taxes on my house was to the city of Bay City. So, and that tax rate's about 59 cents per $100 evaluation. And you say, well, you look like Rosenberg. Rosenberg's like 34 cents. Now, a city gets money from two places, property tax and sales tax, and fees, but they're minimum. The more sales tax you have, the lower property values in a municipality. The county only has one way to make money other than fees, and that's property taxes. So 35 cents is what you're paying. Now, we did talk about the fact that because of the appraisal values went up, the county is keeping $1.6 million more in 2024 than it did 2023. But I justified that by telling you everything is going up, and they have got to raise salaries. Folks, if they don't address law enforcement and our volunteer fire departments and salaries, we're not going to have a government. I'm just here between the jailers and the sheriff's department. Don't quote me, but let's say they're probably 10 employees short, if not more.
Yep.
We have got to address salaries. And trucks cost more, tractors cost more, asphalt costs more, everything costs more. And so I don't begrudge the fact that they needed $1.6 million more. I just want them to put it to good use, which I know they are. City is the same way. The city passed a 0 rate increase tax rate. The school district, James bragged on, they lowered theirs to $1.02. So $1.02 per $100 evaluation. I'm just telling you, folks, do your homework when you complain about your property tax rate, because you're saying tax rate and you're meaning appraisals. Now, the interim I'm sorry, Jeff, I get wound up on this.
No. That's why we were talking about it.
The legislature just put out their interim charges, the speaker and the lieutenant governor. And folks, not one mention of appraisal process review. And I'm telling you right now, and I get fired up, I ran for state rep on appraisal process review. I want to completely revamp the way we appraise our property values. Doesn't have anything to do with the city, the ISD, the county, and how they set a tax rate. They get a budget request, they get an estimate over of how much, and then they pick a tax rate based on, and a lot of times they keep the same tax rate, but because there's more taxable value in the county, then they don't have to go up on the tax rate. They keep the tax rate the same, but they collect more money because of the evaluation. Now, the goal is, and we talk about it every Monday, is to add taxable value rather than them going up on me and you. So if I get a $300 million wind farm on the tax rolls, I'm wanting my tax rate to go down. Now, my appraisals are still going to go crazy out the roof. So there's nothing we can do about the appraisal other than contest it, other than do your homework, find local comps, go to the appraisal district there on Avenue G, downtown Bay City, and tell them this appraisal is crap, it's bullshit, and you need to redo it. And hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll lower your appraisal.
Quick question.
Okay.
Does the state have anything to do with the appraisals?
Yeah.
That's
the
right.
comptroller's office oversees it. Yeah.
Yes.
The formula comes from the state.
That's right.
So the county has nothing. nothing, zero, nothing to do with the appraisal process.
That's right.
In fact, the appraiser is paid by the state. The whole process is outlined by state law.
Yeah.
And even the appraiser here locally has very little wiggle room, because if he doesn't perform to, if he gets audited by the state and they don't feel like he raised the appraisals high enough, then he has to go back and completely redo it.
Right.
It's the appraisal. When you get mad, I want you to get mad at the state of Texas and the appraisal process.
Yes.
Because that's where, now I want you to watch our local governments now. Don't get me wrong. I want you to hold them accountable for setting a tax rate. I'm not giving them a pass.
Right.
I'm not giving them a pass, because there are areas, not here, Harris County, they wanted to go up 8% a couple of years ago. And they said, why? Well, we need to give more money away to poor people. Well, that's not the answer. That was the answer I heard. But I want you to watch our taxing entities, and you didn't even know there were 9, but there is, because you write one check to Becky, and everybody wants to be mad at the county or Becky,
right?
Cook, our tax collector assessor, because that's where you wrote the check to. But then she turned around and wrote it to the city of Palacios, the city of Bay City, drainage district number 3, 2, 1, all of those. I tell you what, if you really want to look at something unique, Google 2024 tax rate Wharton County, and it'll give you a list: the city of El Campo, city of Wharton, county of Wharton, and then it'll list, Jeff, all of the emergency service districts.
Yep.
And my gosh, there was probably 6.
Yep.
There was a lot. There was a lot of emergency services districts.
Yes.
And their tax rate was like 8 cents per 100.
8 cents. Yeah, that's right. Emergency service districts run anywhere between 7 and 10 cents.
Yeah, yeah. Most of them were. One was 4 cents. Most of them were 8.
Right.
And so you wonder how Wharton County pays for their emergency equipment and services. That's how they've established the emergency service district. I know Vic's talked a lot. Vic Collins with Midfield has talked a lot about it. I think he's got a petition started, the last I heard.
Yes.
I'll just say, I think that's the direction we need to go. That's a whole different subject. I'm sorry. Jeff, did anybody guess the tax rate?
No. No, nobody guessed. I had some text on here for some other stuff, but no, nobody guessed the tax rate. And let me say something on that part right there. I've been a part of the emergency service district since I got here, when I was working with the fire departments and stuff with Matagorda and Midfield, and Markham, everybody, with all the fire departments. They all looked at me to try to do something because I was on the radio, a voice, and I was able to talk about it. And at one time we did have a meeting, and that's where Nate and everybody, we were educated. Somebody actually came down and talked about the emergency service district. Yeah. And this is, oh man, they're talking 2018, 17, maybe 16, somewhere in there. And it's something that should be done. Really. It really is something that should be done. The equipment that all of Matagorda has is not new equipment. None of it. There'd be no way to afford new equipment. With the emergency service district, you can. When you have that account set up and your organization is set up for that emergency service district, you can get grants better because you have the service there. You have the money coming in. It's a guaranteed to come in. It's not
based on the appraisal. That's right.
Based on the appraisal. So now you're able to get fire trucks and things like that. We started, you and I said something a lot of, if you remember this question a few years back, that a few months ago, you and I had talked about the city of Bay City, the fire trucks that they got a new fire truck, but the money for that is being paid through the water department.
The water bill. That's exactly right.
And people are coming to me saying, we're unaware of that. We didn't approve that. We didn't say that. We didn't say you could do. Now look at our water bill. And people are bitching and moaning about their water bill, which it is high. I mean, it's high for me here. Listen, I got one little toilet and a sink, and my water bill at the month is almost 1.5 times more than my electric bill is here. Yeah. So just at this place, just at the shop. Yeah. So, you know, and the trash is included in that as well. Some people don't know that, but your trash is included as well. You know, so at the end of a month, I could use maybe
sewer as well. Yeah.
Sewer, water, and trash.
Yeah.
So I get $125, $150 bill every month. Every month. You know, I gotta pay it because I know where it's going to. The trash is expensive, very expensive. Right. You know, I think that's $25 or $35 a month, something like that, maybe a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure, but on that. But you know, everybody is pointing the finger at the wrong people. And they're pointing it locally when they should be pointing more your finger at the state.
I agree.
And I'm going to say this, and some people get pissed off at me, and that's fine because, you know, I'm lately with everything the way everything's going, I'm right down. I'm an independent. You know, I'm independent. I look at it. Well, look at and people come to me. Well, the Republican Party's trying to get, and then I get a Democrats coming to me. Well, the Democratic Party's trying to. You know what? They're all fighting against each other, and you know who's losing? We are, not them. They still get their pay, whether they suck or don't suck. They get their pay. When we do what they tell us to do, it just we keep on dishing more money out. The thing that got me about Governor Abbott, and I'm going to say something, and maybe he'll comment on it, maybe he'll get this. Listen, don't strong arm people with saying I'm not going to vote for you or vote for something in your district or help you with your district if you don't vote for what I want. That is the worst politician you can have. That's called strong arming, and it's not cool. It's not cool. You know, Trump's done it. I know Biden's done it. I know there's other people that have done it. Both sides have both done it, and you get nowhere with those results. You're getting nowhere. You're getting nowhere with what you want or what you need. Our government, from our state to our United States government, need to listen to us a little bit more, and they're not. They can go out and debate and primary. Well, this is what the United States wants. You're not listening to us, man. You're listening to 25, 30 people that are going to feed you what you want to hear.
Donors, man. Donors.
Dollar donors. The donors.
Listen to those donors.
It's getting to the point it's ridiculous. And I'm telling you, this next election is going to be the lowest voting election you're going to see. I guarantee it. Mark my words. I said it today. It's going to happen. And the reason is because, you know, you got the Republican Party saying, yeah, we're going to vote for Trump. Would you like Trump? Oh, no, not really, but he's Republican. Or you going to vote for Biden? Yeah, I'm Democrat, but that's why I'm voting for Biden. You know what?
See, let's start nowadays. Voting. You have to be Republican enough. It's not just good enough to be Republican.
Republican, right?
Now,
exactly.
Now the Republicans are split because now you've got Republicans, and then you've got people that said, "Well, you're really not Republican enough. You're a rhino, Republican in name only."
Right.
So now we've got three parties, and that's where a lot of the fight in the state house was.
Right.
Was fighting in the primary.
Right.
You're right. Now, that brings up how many people know who the two candidates will be in November for a District 30 state house race.
Well, I do, but go ahead.
So A.J. Louderback, he won the runoff. So A.J. Louderback, former sheriff, Jackson County. And then we have the Democratic candidate, and her name is Stephanie Bassam, Bassham.
Right.
Stephanie Bassam.
Right.
And she is the candidate on the Democratic side for our November election. Right. We need, Jeff, you and I, and everybody listening live, and everybody that listens to this recorded, needs to make sure we're talking to those two individuals and letting them know what we expect. And what we need, because I'm telling you, between taxes and insurance, liability, homeowners, windstorm,
Yeah.
the price of groceries, the price of housing.
Right.
Man, there is a breaking point for some,
Yep.
and it's in different places, but nobody is talking about the cliff. And I don't know if you're a single mom right now with kids, you may be hanging off the cliff. You may not be able to make it anymore because when property values go up for an apartment complex, the owners have got to go up on the rent.
Yep. It seems like we have our act together to take care of other countries except our own.
The way it seems. That's the truth.
Serious. I mean, you know, okay, we got money put aside and we're going to send it over there to take care of that country. We got money here and we're going to send it over there to take care of that country. And we got enough over here to take care of this down here, along here. And then we're going to, and then, you know, we're going to move.
Feeding the 10 million people that cross the border with illegally, and pick the number that came over with in an illegal fashion that aren't working right now. And I hear about the city of I was watching on the Sunday shows that the city of New York is spending more money housing and feeding and taking care of the immigrants that have been dumped into their community or have traveled to their community. They're spending more on that than their own police and fire and municipal services.
Yes.
Well, there's a limit to that can't be sustained.
Right.
Yeah. And back during the Obama administration, you know, they said 1,000. You know, that they said, well, they said that it was unsustainable for 1,000 illegals to cross into our country a day. And it was absolutely, we can't stand it. And then we got into the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Now this new executive order says that you have to exceed 1,500 illegal entries in a 7-day consecutive period.
All right.
Now the headlines was Biden secures the border.
Yep.
Biden ain't secured anything.
No.
They're still letting hundreds of thousands of people in. And it won't be long.
Yeah.
Mark my words, I give it a year to 2 years when the next thing you're going to hear is you want to give all those people the ability to vote.
And let me tell you one more thing.
Make them citizens.
That's right. One more thing. Here's the deal. What is the percentage of Mexicans, actual Mexicans, crossing the border illegally?
Low, in single digits.
1.5%. The rest is from other countries. And I want to get that all these Mexicans come over here. China's huge. China 22%. China. Okay. Venezuela. 20%.
Do you know that the crime rate in Venezuela is going down?
Yeah, because they're all coming over here. That's
why. They shipped it. They shut the prisons and they shipped them.
Cuba.
They were talking about the Venezuelan gangs have now formed in New York.
Yep. Cuba, 16%. Haiti is one of the highest. Haiti's one of the highest at 37%. So you're talking, and then Honduras, Ecuador, all these other ones, below Panama.
And Jeff, they don't have our best interest at heart. I'm just here to tell you.
Yeah, no, not at all. They didn't
come over here to assimilate into America. They may have came over for a job.
Yep.
They may have.
Yeah. And the Mexicans actually do. The Mexican population over there, because of the change of the dollar, you know, the dollar up here working down there. And that's fine, because I don't know any white, black, any American that wants to work in a lettuce field, cutting lettuce in 100-degree heat in Arizona. You know, they're not doing it, especially for the money they're paying. They're paying like $8 an hour per person for these guys, but they're happy with that. And they go home, they drink their cerveza, they send a couple bucks over, and that's the way it is. They're not causing no trouble.
A shrimp fleet, Jeff.
The shrimp fleet
with the 2H2 visas.
Yeah.
Nobody. I remember when my wife was working at the Workforce Solutions, and she put all these ads out and had a job fair for shrimpers.
Right.
And she had 2 people show up. Neither one of those were qualified.
Right. And the other thing is, just because they have a Hispanic last name does not mean they came from Mexico.
No, that's true.
It does not mean that at all. You know, you got Rodriguez's in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Haiti, you know, or whatever, right. You know, and I don't want to sound racist, but the people that are saying it's Mexicans coming over are racist because that's not what's coming over.
Jeff, I think they're ignorant. I think
that's what it
is. It's a low information individual.
Yes, and
that,
you know,
that jumps to a conclusion. They've done no homework.
Yeah,
they heard it from somebody.
They heard it on Facebook. Yep, and they're just not getting the news. They're not getting the news correctly. That's all. And I've talked to border guys, and it's just that's ridiculous.
I want one other thing too, and you're talking about people getting accused of things that isn't fair. I just read today, evidently there was a bad wreck on State Highway 35 at Old Van Vleck Road, or between 457, may have been at 457, Old Van Vleck Road. It was east of the Burger King, all I know. And it said, the Facebook quote said, the city ought to do something. There's been one death and now a really bad accident on 35, and the city ought to put a light in. Okay. Well, if you're the one that said that, I don't mean anything ugly to you. I'm just telling you, it's a state highway. You're wanting the city to do something that they cannot do. They can't put a light on a state highway. That is TxDOT.
That's correct.
And we've got our Bay City TxDOT office. We also work out of Wharton. Our district is out of Yoakum. If you need help contacting those people, let me know. I don't mind helping you, but don't blame the city of Bay City.
So fixing that is by saying this: Highway 35 and Highway 60 are state.
Okay?
Highway 35. I'm going to repeat it again. Yeah. Highway 35, which is 7th Street, and Highway 60, which is Avenue F, is state. It is not city.
No,
not right.
That's correct.
Now, 521 going down the other side, that's county. This is county roads. Your side streets where people live in the houses and stuff, that's city. Okay, just break it down that way. Those bigger main streets, not the Highway 60s or the 35s, the little smaller ones like Nichols Road and stuff like that. That's county. City. Well, city up there, and then when it goes down,
So here's a way to know it. If it's a county road, CR, that's county road.
That's right.
State Highway 60 is a state highway. State Highway 35 is a state highway. Farm to market is state.
Right.
Farm to market. If you see FM, blah, 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 that's a state responsible for that. Yes. If it says county, it's county. If you see a little street in Palacios or Bay City, it's a city street.
And just to let you know how anal I've been getting lately, the grass was getting very high in front of the right there on Highway 60, going towards the bridge and over the bridge. And I'm thinking, wow, this is the highest I've seen it in a while. I made a phone call and they said, yes, sir, we got it scheduled for tomorrow. And the next day I was out there.
All right.
And I was just saying, hey, how often do they cut that grass? Yeah, we're gonna get it now because the ditch, the lower part of the ditch, cannot be marshy. It has to dry out.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So because what happens is the tractors will tip over if it gets too much. And I said, okay, I didn't know, and I said it seemed pretty dry.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to jump on the pools too. There's been some movement.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of people get on Facebook. They don't have a clue. We have Hilliard Pool. They've spent about $300,000 on the Hilliard Pool. Looks absolutely amazing. So you got the Hilliard Pool. That's in south part of Bay City. We've got what I call the 16th Street Pool. They also call it Valor Park. Anyway, it's open. It's open. So the city was going to close it. The Community Development Corporation is getting involved now. That board of directors says, hey, we want to get involved. We want to keep it open. Wellness Matagorda, a board that I'm a part of, Lois Neary and Renee Savage are both on that, actually co-chair that. We've said that we will do fundraising and as much as $30,000 to try to keep that pool open through the summer. We're trying to attract the Bay City swim team, the Bay City ISD swim team back to town. We've got a lot of Aqua Cats, our young kids that are a part of swim programs. We're trying desperately to keep that open. But I'm just going to tell you that pool, I've had people tell me that pool's as much as 60 years old. Every bit of 40 years old. So if somebody wants to do a fact check on me, it's old. It's outlived its usefulness. A new pool, a new facility, depending on what you're looking at, is going to run anywhere from 13 million to 30 million. We do have somebody that's interested in managing it, the YMCA, the Golden Crescent YMCA. They're now currently have summer camps in the schools, in the elementary schools. But the YMCA is interested in managing the pool, because one of the things we talked about when we were looking for partners, the ISD, the county, the city, CDC, whoever, was who's going to operate it. Well, nobody wanted that responsibility. We have an operator now, YMCA. The pool will be open through the summer. We're talking 3 months at a considerable cost. And that's also if they can hire enough lifeguards, but that's a whole nother labor issue.
That's right.
But I want you to know that there's a lot going on, and we're trying desperately to come up with a solution. But I think every time you see a city council person, you need to go pat them on the back, because the last thing I want them doing, I do want the pool open. The last thing I want is them to waste my tax dollars and your tax dollars. But I also want to compromise on what's the best thing we can do to keep that pool open. What we're offering right now is not a long-term solution. Don't think it's a long-term solution. It's not. Right. It's a short-term solution to a very old problem that's been around now for multiple years.
Right.
10, 12 years ago, they were talking about a new pool. It's just very expensive. When you've got roads to work on, when you've got sewer and water lines that need worked on, when you've got new water towers that need to be worked on, when you've got a police department completely falling in on them, and you need a new building, a safety building, building a new pool is borrowing money to build a new pool is difficult for those elected officials. And I thank them for being. Now, I want us to work together. I want us to continue the dialogue. But it looks like for a short term, let's say 90 days, we've got individuals looking again, not long term. Well, I mean, we're always looking at long term. Don't get me wrong. Long term is out there. But we've got a solution for short term. The city just cannot continue to carry the burden of that cost all by themselves. So we're going to see what we can do. But a lot of conversations, as much tax money as I pay, you'd think they'd have a brand new pool. It don't work that way. You don't pay enough taxes.
No.
They'd have to double your taxes right now to even think about all the things you want fixed. I'm sorry. I hate to be blunt. But I'm just telling you, you can't afford. I had a boss one time tell me I'm a perfectionist, and that's one of my faults. And he was telling me that. And he told me, and I'll never forget it. He told me that, Mitch, your customer can't afford the product that you're trying to give them.
Right.
And it means a lot. All they can afford is a Chevrolet, and you're trying to build them a Rolls Royce. and they can't afford it, Mitch. And I understood that. And so let's be careful what we demand on Facebook. Let's do a little bit of homework. Email Jeff or I. Ask an elected official what's going on. Budget season for the county started today. If you care about the county budget and the tax rate, here you go. Budget hearings have started every Monday, I think at 1:30. Check the county website. City, same thing. City starting their budgeting process. So if you really care, you really want to be involved, you really want your tax dollars being spent in this direction or this direction or this direction. I know because I'm going in front of council July the 9th for the hotel motel tax to keep the Civic Center running. So you want to be able to say where the money goes. I want you to attend those budget workshops. All 9 taxing entities will be having budget workshops this summer. They've got to set a tax rate. I think the deadline is October 1st. Maybe it's September. I don't know. So they've got the summer now to do tax rates. If you're that interested in where your tax dollars are being spent, or if you want the street in front of your house redone or the ditch or whatever special interest design, please don't go ask for a street light on State Highway 35. They're going to laugh at you. Well, they won't. They'll be very, very nice and tell you they're not responsible for that, to contact TxDOT. But I applaud you. I think, Jeff, one of the questions you had about the street lights, that project, there's going to replace 6 street lights downtown Bay City.
Yeah, the traffic lights.
That project is moving forward. Engineering is done. They've gone out for bids. Basically, they're all around the square. 6 traffic signals will be replaced.
Right.
What's the other project that I'm aware
the other thing,
of?
The other thing we were talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The 35 bridge that we talked about, it has been postponed. So we talked about that. They're closing. They're gonna move everything to one side and tear the bridge down and replace it. That has been put on hold for right now. It won't be on hold for long.
Right. Is that because of the other bridge they're working on down there? And
No, it's just the ages of the bridge. They're still working on the 521 bridge over the Tres Palacios River.
Yeah, that's taking some time, boy.
Yeah, it's just that's a
big weather too. Yeah, that's a big bridge.
It's a big old bridge going across the river.
Yeah.
And they had to tear the old one down first.
Yeah, I did talk to the workers that were down there. You can pull alongside of it and go down there. And they had to stop there for a little while because the ground was too much because the river got high there during so they had to stop before they can pound those concrete blocks into the ground. And then they were saying the other reason was because they're going to have more truck traffic going across there, especially with HIF going in down there, as with STP moving the lines and all kinds of stuff. So they're working on getting that done. But I did ask them about the 35 bridge, and that company is involved in it. I don't know if they're doing the whole thing, but they said, and you're right, they were going to post. The guys said it was postponed until they get closer completion on 2 other bridges in the area that they're working on or something. That's one of the reasons. That's what I heard. So
it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
it does. I mean, you don't want to. Jesus, 2 crossovers. I mean, God, you would.
Yeah, if you major evacuation routes,
right,
and you've got 2 of them restricted. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's not very.
Colorado and the Tres Palacios, boy, you could.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to get over. I mean, it just had to be.
What do you got to go? You got to go all the way up to 59 to cross again, don't you? On the Colorado River.
The Colorado River, yeah.
59.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and they put the new bridge down on 521 crossing the Colorado, but don't make a difference if you're trying to get over to Palacios. 521 is closed off.
You're trying to get out of town. That's
it's going to be tough. So, real quick, we talked the new restaurants that are coming in, and they're here
So Taco Bell owns the land. They're going to start. They told us they're going to start construction at the end of this year. That's at Norvell and 35, next to the fancy car wash, Bay Wash. Popeyes did a file with the drainage district and then went silent. They do have an agreement with the vet, and they do have an agreement with the Hampton. And they've gone radio silent. So I don't know what to tell you. They're not returning our calls. Okay. If you'll remember, that same piece of property is where Denny's was going in, and the exact same thing happened. They put in the permits and then went silent and just didn't contact us again. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. I will tell you that Churches, Texas, they're going to start the hiring process pretty quick. I think they have a job fair on the 20th of June.
Okay.
So they're getting close. Chopsticks is open. The reviews I've read has been tremendous. Yes. A lot of people liken it to a Panda Express.
Yes.
And my grandkids have loved Panda Express.
Yeah. And I've heard, good things about it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward. According to Jessica Russell, the bourbon chicken is to die for.
Yeah.
And so let's see what else. La Casona. I mean, no, not La Casona. Help me. Los Cucos.
Los Cucos. Thank you.
Los Cucos. Los Cucos is the one of the principals ended up having a stroke. It's a shame, but so a little delayed. I think I'm hearing end of July they're opening.
Okay.
And that is a little bit of a controversy that the Community Development Corporation voted to put a outdoor playground there, and so it caused a lot of concern. Next week, let's talk about the CDC and where it gets its funding. It is tax money. It's not property tax money. Right. It is sales tax, economic development, half-cent sales tax. Right. So when you and our visitors buy things at a grocery store or buy things and you pay sales tax, the CDC does get a little of that. Right. It's earmarked on what it can be used for. Right. Let's talk a little bit more about that next. But Los Cucos is coming on. Not the event side. I think that's going to take a little bit more time.
Yes.
But City Council toured it not too long ago. And they are very impressed with the interior.
Yep.
Very impressed. It's evidently they've done a tremendous job inside transforming a Ford dealership into a beautiful restaurant. Yeah. And then the event center will take a little bit longer.
So next week, we're going to hit on a couple of things. Like you said, we'll talk about the CDC.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to hit on something that I've touched on before and have all the information in front of me so we can discuss it a little better.
Okay.
And it's about our customer service and our restaurants and things like that around here. And what they're doing in Sugar Land and what they're doing in Rosenberg and what they're doing up north of Houston, and actually some sections of Houston, they're actually starting to do it more. They're building on a plan, and there's a name for it, but it's run by the city.
Okay.
And the city government put together a deal and say, listen, we want people to come here, and when they come into the city and enjoy themselves in every realm that they possibly can, from our parks to our streets to our restaurants and everything. So we're going to put something, I'm going to bring something up next week that I think we could really, really use maybe in a year or two, but at least, when more revenue comes to the county or city. And I think it would work tremendously. It's just, we're getting a black eye on on a couple things of comments and people and stuff like that, and businesses and work, and the word gets out, and poor Jack in the Box a couple weeks ago with their situation that they had, and they got through it, but I want to discuss that. I want to be able to let people aware, hey, this is the deal and what happened. So, but anyway, there's a lot going on. And once again, I want to let everybody know that during the week this week, as the information comes in, Andy Kirkland and I will jump on our Facebook page, on the Facebook page, and get it out there. I want to thank everybody that subscribed to us here in Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. We got over 70 some subscribers already, which is really good on our YouTube page. And folks watching on one of the number one websites in the city of Texas, the state of Texas happens to be Gulf Coast One Radio. So I'm really, really happy about that. And it's just building and building and building. And if you see behind me, it says L&J Small Engine. I'm not going to promote my business, but I want to promote yours. So give me a call or email me at InsideTexas24@gmail.com. I'll let you know how you can get your business posted up in the back behind me. If we get a couple businesses, we'll switch them in and out. It's very cheap. It's very inexpensive. It just helps us run our little horse and pony show here and helps the radio station a lot. But I want to thank 22,800 viewers this month, the month of May. And we're really, really proud about that because the month before it was 14,000. So it's almost doubling every month. So it's really, really good.
Jeff, Carolyn had a question. She was listening to you all weekend. What music venue do you claim? All over?
Yes. Yeah, okay. a little bit of everything. Country, classic rock, oldie. Right. But we're gonna tighten it up a little bit more now that we got everything set up the way that we want to. Okay. So it's gonna be more of a 70s, 80s, 90s mix. And then I heard that Rusty Bucket's coming back to do an oldie show.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so Rusty Bucket's coming back. We're gonna do an oldie show for the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I put a thing on Facebook, and we had a lot of response that people really want to hear Rusty Bucket, and he's been bugging me for a job, so we're gonna get him back up there and have an oldies night. I'm not sure if it's gonna be Saturday night or Sunday night. I'm not sure. I think Sunday nights they're gonna do it. That and also some church services we're gonna have on here live. We're getting some churches set up, so a lot of stuff. We're still working on a lot of stuff. We wanted to make sure we had the stream right. We got that right now. The computer's right. We got that right now. There's no lag. There's no nothing. It's working fine. Yeah. And then working, it's going to be a little tough getting all this stuff together with our weather situations out there too. So that ties up at time. And then I got to work on these lawnmowers that people drop off. Jeez. it don't stop, man. It just.
I've got 15 weed eaters I don't need them till tomorrow afternoon.
Now you're breaking up. I didn't hear a word you said.
Chainsaws and weed eaters.
Yeah. And, let me tell you what to do with those. No, kids are watching. Sorry, kids are watching.
You can have it. I don't need it till noon tomorrow.
Noon tomorrow? No problem. Drop them off. They'll be on, but put them on the pile, the one that's smoking outside, on that burn pile that I have over there. To throw them on there. We're good to go. Anyway. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and that crazy, lovely, the silver-haired ghost over there. We're going to call him the silver goat. There he is, right there. Mitch, the Madman Thames. Thanks for watching Inside Texas. We'll see you all next week. Till then, adios.
All right.